Okay, so should you marry for love or marry for money? I'm gonna tell you why. Personally, I will. Oh, sorry camera. I will always marry for love. Before we start this conversation, I just want to tell you that only 2% of men in the UK earn 100k plus. For the purposes of this conversation, when we say money, we mean 6 figures plus. And when we say marry for money, you wouldn't consider the guy, you wouldn't, consider him as a long-term partner if he did not make the money that he makes / have the net worth that he has. And also, you can't choose. It's either love or money, okay? When we're having this discussion. So yeah, so my first reason as to why I will always choose love is because a provider mindset doesn't have a tax bracket. So you can be a guy. The average salary in the UK is between 35 and 40k. I think the mean is 40k and the median is about 35,693, something like that. And what I care about is a man that is generous with what he has, even a guy that is generous, a guy that is kind. All of the my priorities are, does he have integrity, is he kind? But I'm not going to go through the whole list, we know what that is. But when it comes to money, generosity is very important, and a provider mindset is very important. So if he is on the 35k, maybe the first few years of marriage, because I believe it would be my partner's responsibility to pay for the rent or the mortgage, we may just be renting out a room in London, or we may be in a studio for the first few years of our marriage, and I'm completely happy to do that. I'm very happy to live within my partner's means. Some women that'll be listening to this and be like, I could never. And that's absolutely fine. I'm not trying to convince you, I'm just explaining my stance. And the one thing that I want to be consistent is know who you are and stand by that. I can say this and I can say I'll happily live in a studio with my husband for the first years of marriage because I know who I am and I've sat with myself and I'm okay with that. For you, that may not be enough for you and you may want more, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone has their standards, everyone has their needs. As a woman, I completely respect, your standards, and that's absolutely fine. To start from scratch if need be. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain things that can't be happening. He needs to have good financial habits. So if the debt is crazy, he needs to sort that out, or at least start sorting that out before he comes to me. I want to see discipline. I want to see that he saves. I want to see that he invests. I want to see that he's savvy with his money. I want to see good habits before I come. And it may not, and if he doesn't have that much, that's fine. Even if he saves £10 a week, at least he has the habit of saving. So I know that when we have more, because we will, I need to see good financial habits. The small that you have, you steward that well. So I can trust that when God gives us more, you can steward that well as well. So what was my point? My first point, provider mindset. Yeah, provider mindset does not have a tax bracket. So also in terms of dates, so it can be our housing where I'll adjust to his lifestyle. Dates, we might have to go on free dates, so we're going for walks, we're going out for ice cream. And even, to be fair, when you're first getting to know each other, that's a really nice low stakes way to just do things that are quite cheap, like just to grab a coffee, but one thing I will say, because I don't want this to be twisted, I don't want this to be like a mindset of, okay, like attract bummy guys, because that's not what it is. As I've said, he has to have good financial habits. And also, when I say the provider mindset, I'm saying, like, if we are going for the ice cream, he's paying for the ice cream. If we are going to Vapiano's, he's paying for the Vapiano's. If we are doing the Groupon date, he's paying. If we are, like, that is not even a question. If you are taking me out, you are paying. I don't care if you're on even 20k, 30k, 22, that's fine. But just know, out of the little that you have, if you are going to be dating, that's going to cost money, and mentally prepare for that. And it may be like £5 cinema tickets, so you'll be spending £10 because you're paying for both of us. You're going to have to be willing to give up that £10 a week, or maybe we go on 2 dates a week, so you have to budget maybe like £30-40 a week, and that adds up. What's 40 times 4? 160 a month. That may have to be your day budget, or it can be less. That's fine. It can just be the ice creams for a month of August, you know what I mean? That's fine. But just know, when I say provider mindset, it means you're paying for the dates, it means you're paying for the necessities, it means you're paying for the basics. So out of the little that you have, you're generous and you sacrifice. And worst comes to worst, like if I have a baby, then you may need to pick up another job. I don't know. But also I'll be working too. I'll always be working, don't get me wrong. And I think finances look different when you've been together for a few years, but definitely the dating phase he's paying, and definitely when I'm married my man is paying the rent / the mortgage. That's a non-negotiable. That's his job. Personally, that's my view. No, I kind of mashed all of my points into one, but I would say, like, look at his habits. So look at, is he a hard worker? Does he get promoted? Is he diligent? Like, again, looking for habits, character traits, looking for discipline, making sure that he's not stupid with his money, but he stewards everything that God gives him, that he gives to the poor, that he invests. And again, it may only be a tiny, like 1%, 2%, do you know what I mean? Because there may not be a lot of leeway in his finances, but at least he's practicing these principles. Okay, and back to the statistic. Like, I'm not going to limit my chances of love and be like, he has to earn 100k when that's only 2% of men. It's so hard just to find a nice normal guy. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And every girl thinks that they'll be the one to bag the rich guy, and it's like, do you even like him? Does he even like you? It's just long. No, I'm not doing it. I'm happy to date and marry a guy on an average salary. And another thing I will say, I can say, oh, I'll go on a walk date. I can say I'll go for an ice cream. I can say go for a coffee, like the cheaper dates. I can say that because I know myself. And for you, your standards maybe, I don't want to say higher, because it's actually very high to be asking for integrity and character. Do you know what I mean? Those things that take a lot of work. But it's because I know myself, so I know what I'm willing to do, the experiences that I want to have, what's important to me in my value system. And another point is, like, biblically, there are just some biblical principles that just make sense. So I'm not gonna marry a lazy man. I'm not gonna marry a man that, in Proverbs it's like, keep stuff in your storehouse, like the oil. I've forgotten the other thing that was mentioned, but it's like, okay, save a bit, invest a bit, don't bury the money. Those kind of things. There's some certain biblical principles that I'd like to see him walking through, so that he is generous, he does save, he does invest, and then after those things, then he thinks about, okay, like, what can I live off of? But those are important to me, and those are things that I could be more generous, and I've started investing and I've started saving, but I could do more. And another thing I want to say is that if he is submitted to God, money will not be an issue. If God has put you together, if you're both submitted to him and to his will, God will always provide. God will care for you. God will make sure that you have clothes on your back and you have food on your table. God will provide if you, like, completely trust him. So I'm not worried about, at the end of the day, if God places me with a man that where his salary is 15k a year, then that's what we're living off, like. So, and God will provide. And it's not that we're going to be silly with that money. We'll give, we'll save, we'll do all the things that God wants us to do, but so be it. And I'm okay with that. Yeah, I am. I don't have kids yet, so maybe my views will change. And this is just my diary, and this is like where I'm at and the things I've learned. And the main thing I've learned is that you can date a guy with money, but he can be stingy and he can not listen to you, where it feels like you're not even benefiting from the situation. And I've learned that. So it's just like, money doesn't even matter. You just need to really, really like the person, enjoy their company, be madly in love with them. I want a passionate relationship. I want a loving relationship. I want a kind, sweet, generous man with integrity, that's consistent, that's disciplined, that's developed good financial habits, that's generous, that cares about the kingdom, that is financially putting money towards it. Like, those are the things that I am looking for. Because anything else is a lie, and we've been fed this thing of like, he has to earn 6 figures and have a 6-pack and be 6 foot tall, and that does not, a high value man, that doesn't maketh not, you know. So yeah, I feel like I've learned the hard way, that that's what matters at the end of the day. And you may overlook certain men that you shouldn't because of certain things, and I'll just leave that there. But anyway, goodbye. It's the month of December. I'm gonna be putting out lots of content consistently in January, so I'm really excited about that. And thank you for coming. Sorry, I know my energy has been a bit lower. Christmas really took everything out of me, like just like buying presents constantly, cleaning, cooking, everything. I'm just like just recovering. But yeah, anyway, God bless. Bye.